On October the 30th, a 15-year-old African-American boy left his father's house in Baldwin, Louisiana, and got into a car with a 17-year-old white boy and his mother. His parents reported him missing that evening, and days later, his body was found in a sugarcane field 20 miles away from home, and the police said that he drowned. But his family said that the injuries to his body tell another story. A graphic photo of his body is being compared to that of Emmett Till. That teenager's name is Quawan Charles, also known as Bobby. Now, on the phone with us is attorney for his family, Ron Haley. Attorney Haley, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Ricky, thank you so much for having me.
Man, thank you so much, man. Now, most of all, most of us had the same question when we first heard the story. What's up with the with the white family that Bobby left with, and what are they saying, and are they currently being investigated?
Listen, the law enforcement is really being hush-hush about what's going on with this investigation. We know that there are persons of interest and allegedly have been in constant contact with the police. We do know that they have spoken with law enforcement, but the extent of that conversation, we do not know. Our private investigators have had a chance to have a talk with them, but that's as far as we know as far as the family.
Well, you know what? I think it's interesting that the Bowen Police Department has released a video that would appear to support their case that Bobby's disappearance was not a kidnapping, but they have dropped the ball several times in this case. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, let's start there. The kid was still taken from his parents' house without permission, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean them picking him up was A-okay. I don't know about you guys if you have kids. I know my kids left my house without my permission with an adult, child, or whoever. That's a problem, first of all. Second of all, after the ball has been dropped, listen, why didn't they ping a cell phone? Right, we know we have case law to support that you do not need a warrant to ping a cell phone. His cell phone should have been pinged the night that his parents said he was missing on October the 30th. His cell phone was only pinged 4 days later, November 2nd. And guess what? Miraculously, you do some work, you ping the cell phone, and then you find them about 12 hours later. That's absolute negligence in their part and shows an absolute disregard and carelessness for black kids' lives.
Now, it's really important to know that the police chief of Baldwin is a black man, but, you have to say that, that you believe that race played a factor in how the police handled the case. Now, is this a simple case of the police not doing their due diligence, or is there more? And then tell me, what do you think happened, if you had to guess?
Well, I think at this point, I don't want to speculate as to why the police didn't do more. I think you look at statistics from our own FBI, and we can see that there's a systemic problem as it relates to missing black children. Black children make up 14% of the kid population in this country, but yet make up 37% of the missing kids. And we know that black children that are gone missing are only reported publicly 7% of the time. That's a problem. So that's a systemic problem that I think you could look at the case with Quawan Charles and point to and say, yes, race played a factor, whether if it was intentional or we know we have these tacit biases, within law enforcement. It doesn't matter if it's a black man at the helm or not. They still permeate. As far as what happened, man, we could say this. Something bad happened about me, and that's an understatement.
Right.
As far as, I have questions. I have questions as to why that he is with this family, and if you take everyone at their word that we know thus far, leaves that family's house, allegedly on foot, and then ends up in the sugarcane field, face down in a half a foot of water, and somehow drowned, and no foul play is at base. I have a problem accepting that reality.
Yeah, the question, like, how the hell you drown in a sugarcane field? You got to walk through a sugarcane field. Like, how do you? Why?
Without any intervening cause, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
What I want to know, Attorney Ron Haley, is people really started talking about this case once the graphic photo of Quan's face was shared on social media. So why did the family make the decision to show the picture? And how's the family doing?
Well, they showed the picture to get attention. They showed the picture to get attention. They showed the picture to get attention to this issue because they weren't getting anywhere with local law enforcement. What was shocking to the family, and frankly to me, is that when they had their first vigil, I believe the evening of November the 5th, 2 days after he died, they invited local media out. Local media didn't know, one, that the child had went missing. Two, they didn't know Quawan was dead. That was the first time they found out about it, was when the family alerted them. And it was at that moment they were like, hold up. We're going to be lost in the fog forever if we don't get attention to this. As far as the family, man, they're devastated. We talk to them all the time. And, you know, the mother and father and all those that love Quawan is just full of grief, anger, and just bewilderment that this is like Groundhog's Day. You're in a fog 24/7, and you're doing what you can to get some light, but it just seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel right now.
Now, we understand that the family has set up a GoFundMe page to assist paying for a second autopsy. What else can our listeners do to help the family to get justice in this case?
I think continue to elevate the issue. Continue to put pressure on all law enforcement agencies to do a thorough investigation and to demand that those responsible for Bobby's disappearance and death are held responsible. I think on a larger scale that we need to look at this as a bigger issue as it relates to black kids. We need to lower the threshold for Amber Alert. We need to have other tiers that would trigger off, and when kids go missing, there are certain protocols that have to be mandated, that it's just not something discretionary, that a law enforcement agency can decide which case gets the care and which case doesn't. So hopefully that there's not another Quawan Charles.
Man, Attorney Ron Haley, man, thank you so much for taking time to join us today. We're definitely going to be following this case. And I know that the Rickey Smiley Morning Show is behind you 100% as you seek, justice for Quawan and Bobby Charles. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Appreciate you.
No, Rickey, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys a lot. Big fans.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you, man.